But it's about 7 o'clock, so we should probably start getting started. Good evening again, everyone. My name is Raymond Bell. I am the founder and the administrator of the H.O.P.E Project. I want to welcome you to the International Graduate University. Back in 2010, Tim Wilson of the Washington Post wrote an article, and the title said, "Opportunity of a Lifetime." Throughout the crowd here, there are several members of our Alumni Association, folks that have graduated from the H.O.P.E Project. They can attest that it is an opportunity of a lifetime. We'll be here for about an hour. This will not take long. I will be willing to stay as long as need be, within reason, to answer any additional or offline questions that you don't feel comfortable asking in front of the group. I strongly encourage you to consider asking the question, because 9 times out of 10, someone else has that same question. We're one big family. When you become a H.O.P.E Project student, you become part of our family. I only have 7 different topics to talk about, and they all will last like 10, 11 minutes tops, maybe not even that long. And the way it's going to work is, at any point, you're more than welcome to raise your hand, and we'll be happy to answer and address your question. You're going to hear from me, and you're going to hear from several of our H.O.P.E Project graduates. Believe it or not, there's a student in this room right now that was sitting in the same seat that you're sitting in right now, and he worked at a liquor store back in 2010. I'm not sure how much he made, but I want to guess it was probably $11, $12, maybe $13 an hour. Right now, in less than 2 years, like a year and a half, he now makes $66,000. When he enrolled, he didn't have not one technical certification. I can't even tell you how many he has on one hand, because he got 6. He lived right over in Ward 8, right in Southeast. He's no different than anyone else in this room, other than the fact that he was incredibly committed from day one. He is one of 2 students that has had perfect attendance. Y'all, the program starts in September, and they graduate in May. He never missed a day, and he was never late. He's only one of 2 people in 3 classes that has done that. To me, that's impressive. But that's not a unique situation. Anybody in this room who's willing to put the work in can experience the exact same thing. You're going to hear stories from me and others today about sacrificing, about commitment. The reason why we started this program was to do one thing, to prove that young inner city, or what they call socially and economically disadvantaged young people, could excel, and we've proven that. Initially, we want to do it one time. We want to do this one time back in 2009 and prove to the city and to the United States that a program like this could work, versus a lot of those quote-unquote other programs that you see offered throughout the city. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the real deal. If you become my Facebook friend, you'll see the posts and you'll see my tweets. And most of the time, I end it with saying, hope is real. And if you get a chance to talk to any of the students that have participated in the program, that's what they're going to tell you, that hope is real. There's one of my former students sitting right in this room who used to work at the National Ballpark. It wasn't even really full-time permanent. It was only when they had a game. And she was selling hot dogs. And I had to almost break her neck for her not to give up on the program. Since then, she's graduated, and she's had 2 jobs in IT. And now, she makes over $40,000 a year. And we're talking about young people, y'all. The average student in the H.O.P.E Project is 22 and a half. The average starting salary, if you take everybody who's graduated that has a job at IT, their collective average salary is over $35,000 a year. There's some students that have actually had 4 IT jobs since they got their first one. All the whole project graduates, just raise your hand so the folks will know who you are. They all over the place. So my suggestion to you, when we wrap up, I'm going to be here, so I'm happy to answer any questions. But I would spend a few minutes getting to know them and get some insight from them in the application process. Because I actually talked to a young lady today, and her question to me was, well, how many people in there? How many people in the room? My response to her was, don't worry about that. Every single job you apply for, I guarantee you 200, 300, 400 people are going to be applying for it. So if you're worrying about the number of people in here, you've got a problem. Ms. Shepard's here. Raise your hand, Ms. Shepard. Ms. Shepard is a long-time HR professional. She's our career coach. Ms. Shepard has told me that she's recruited for jobs that pay $30,000, $31,000 a year. That ain't a lot of money, y'all. And she's gotten over 600 resumes for a $30,000 job. So don't worry about the number of people that you see in this room. You just simply be committed to doing whatever you have to do to become a member of this class of 2013. Because I guarantee you, your life will change. Most of the whole project students accepted an offer long before they graduated. We started in September. There's people in this room, they were getting job offers in January, February. I remember one young man, it was when we had the auto show. So that's definitely in January. I was at the auto show and he called and said, hey, I just got a job offer from H.O.P.E. So when we say the program starts in September and it ends in May, that doesn't mean that's when you start looking for a job. We learn enough in the first 2.5 to 3 months to begin to start posting our resumes on Dice. Show of hands, how many of you guys, other than my students, of course, have ever heard of the website called Dice? Yep, you're gonna learn a lot about Dice. Dice is a website that only has IT jobs. None of our students have ever just literally went to a website and submitted a resume because somebody had a job open. When you become a whole project student, you're going to become in demand. You'll never have to submit a resume again. Somebody might tell you, could you just send me an updated copy? But literally, they're going to come looking for you. And I know some of the students that have been in the program before are sitting laughing because you guys are hearing that for the first time, and I don't know what your current employment situation is, but I don't know how many of you all got recruiters blowing up your phone asking, can you come in for an interview? But that's what happens, even right now, to all the students that have actually graduated, because they leave their resume on those websites, and the recruiters continue to call them. Not because they're nice or they feel sorry for them, but because they have the certifications, the experience, and the skills that that recruiter is looking for to fill an order. An order is some government agency or government contractor has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 help desk positions. They need to get those jobs filled. So guess what? They give the recruiter the go-ahead, and they go on the websites and they start typing in A+ certification, Active Directory, SharePoint. Lo and behold, Brandon Craig's resume comes up. Brandon Glasker's resume comes up. Dana Silas' resume comes up. They call them and say, hey, I got a great opportunity. Would you be willing to interview with me? It might be over the phone, it might be in person. The technology has grown so much now, they actually Skype with you, and that would be your interview. Yep, that's how it happens. So the reason why we're doing this is because there are people in this city who I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's no way they should be working at McDonald's. I don't have nothing against McDonald's. I go there probably too much myself. But there's no way they should be working at McDonald's. And the goal of this program is to make sure that you don't have to work at McDonald's unless you want to. My goal and our goal for this training program is that 3, 4, 5 months after you get in, you're getting an offer letter from a Hewlett Packard. You're getting an offer letter from Meal Corporation. You're getting an offer letter from some organization or some company that is in desperate need of someone with your talent. It's no different than like a LeBron James. He got all that basketball talent in the world, everybody wants him. That's exactly how they're gonna treat you. The whole project students, raise your hand again if you work for a government contractor. Most of them do. Most of them do. The government contractors, they may pay you $35,000, maybe $40,000. I think Foxworth, he's here, he works over at Commerce. So whatever his salary is, the company he works for is charging an extra $15,000 a year. So maybe they give him 40 and they charge the government 55. They don't make a dime until they fill the position. So there's incentive for them to find someone that has the skills to meet that position so they can start making money. So they're anxious. So this isn't one of them deals where you may talk to an interviewer and you don't hear from them for like several months. They like you, they're gonna send you over an email with an offer letter right away. If you signed in over there, you probably saw on that board a couple offer letters. $45,000, $55,000, $66,000. I don't know if you pay attention to the address, but y'all, them people live in the neighborhood. They live round the way. They're no different than the people in this room. If you want this and you're interested in making a commitment, you're in the right place. I want to talk a little bit about the type of commitment that you have to have. In the last 3 years since I've been running this program, I have heard every possible excuse in the world. Don't put up with them. Any of the students will tell you, I don't believe in excuses. Because the minute you step foot in some organization, they're not going to tolerate excuses. You don't show up, you late, you don't catch on fast enough, if you're not paying attention, they're not going to keep you. We do not like to send our graduates on an interview with one of our corporate partners unless we know that you're going to show up and you're going to show out and you're going to do a good job. There's one company called H.O.P.E. They've hired 12 H.O.P.E. project students. Let me tell you why. Because everybody that has ever worked there, they showed up, they was on time, they did a really good job, they caught on fast. Show of hands, everybody that has worked over at DOD on that contract with H.O.P.E. Raise your hand. Some of them are here. I'm gonna put you on the spot now. How many of the folks are still working there right now? Raise your hand if you're still working at H.O.P.E. right now. If you've missed one day since you started, put your hand down. Put your hand down if you missed a day. You missed a day? Get out. No, I'm just kidding. But we're big on attendance. We're huge on attendance. So in terms of the excuses, I see a couple people here that have their kids. Wonderful. I love babies. I love kids. That's probably the biggest why in the world, because that's why we're all here. I'm going to ask you on your interview and periodically while you're in the program, why are you here? And 9 times out of 10, most people that have kids say, I want to make a better life for my baby or my kids, because they may have multiple kids. Our student of the year, the top student in the graduating class from this year, has a 5-year-old and had a baby 1 week before we graduated. So that means she was pregnant the entire time. Luckily, when she had the baby, we had already broken. We were just waiting another couple of weeks before we graduated. But during the course of those months, anybody's had any kids, you know there's all kind of things that can go wrong. That girl missed 6 days. 6 days from September to May. She missed 6 days total. Not 6 days in a phase. Because I know you probably looked on the website, you see how we got these different phases. She missed 6 days totally. That's impressive. She was, and on top of that, she was the top student. That means she had really high test scores, and she was obviously actively involved in all the stuff that we do here. So when you start talking about excuses, they don't fly with me. They don't fly with me because I've seen people who've made the sacrifice, and they sure don't fly with those organizations. Foxtrot, you the only person here from Mill? Oh, there's Sonia. Come on in, Sonia. They'll tell you in a few minutes, and I'm gonna have them speak about their experiences. When you get these jobs, they're gonna pay you good money, but they're gonna expect a lot too. You ain't gonna have a whole lot of time to figure out the answer. Because we're gonna talk in a minute about how the actual job works, but when they call and they need some help, they want you to pop, 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 pop. They want the answer right away. Because these people making 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, $20,000. Time is money. So they ask you to do something, they want it done right then. Brandon Smiley, you know what I'm talking about. There's another young lady who lives over in Village of Parkland, right over there where they had that shooting the other day, where the 2 kids got shot and the adult lives right over there. Y'all know how hot it was last summer, kind of like we about to get some heat now. Well, she didn't have money to get to class one night. She walked down Southern Avenue, up Naylor Road, down there by Pope Funeral Home, came across Pennsylvania Avenue. It cost $1.60 for her to get on the bus, y'all. She didn't have it. Most people would have stayed home. Most people that attend other career training programs, they would have stayed home. She walked in the heat over here, y'all. She walked from in the heat over here. So when you become a Hope Project student, I'm not big on excuses at all. Because she could have easily, and I would have been okay with that. She showed up and was going to walk home if I wouldn't have overheard the fact that she didn't have money to get home. She didn't have $1.60. That was last year. Fast forward to this year. Homegirl makes $47,500. Was unemployed for 2 years and on TANF getting $428. And she has 2 kids and she was pregnant while she was in the program. Had her baby in February, missed a couple of weeks and was right back in here. And remember, she walked to class after having a baby and she had a C-section. The point I'm trying to make is, y'all, we don't play the excuses. You're in the wrong room. And I have utmost respect for everyone in here. And as we begin to tell this story and explain to you why we do the things that we do, because there's so many benefits, and the folks in the room that have participated can tell you, to being associated with the program, but every year, the bar gets raised. It's based on the success of the people that participated, and more importantly, the relationships we have with people that will hire you. Alicia just walked in the room. Alicia works over at Hewlett-Packard. They got good health benefits. They get paid every week. They even get free parking. Sonia and Foxworth, they're here. They work for Mill Corporation. There's Jasmine. She worked for Mill Corporation too. Jasmine's only 21 years old. Jasmine don't have no college degree, but she have a really, really good job. They all work for Mill Corporation. 5 people, y'all. They hired 4 of them at the same time. 4 people got hired at the same time. Yet, I hear every day people saying, ain't no jobs out here. Ain't nobody hiring. Yes, they are. There's a lot of people hiring. The difference is the people that get hired are the people that have the skills that are in demand. Everybody in this room can pull trash. Everybody in here has a driver's license, can drive a bus, unless you need a CDL. So nothing to separate you. How many people in this room got an A+ certification? That's the difference, y'all. That's the difference. How many people here in here know Active Directory? How many people here know SharePoint? That's why they're working, y'all. That's why they got jobs. Because those are the types of skills that people are looking for. I needed to share that with you because I need you to understand that this ain't neighborhood training. This ain't the community or the faith-based organization that just got some grant from the city or from the federal government and they want to put some of their own people to work and at the same time try to offer you an opportunity to get some career training. This ain't that. Everything that you know about this program, the website, all the success stories, all the News Channel 7 and the News Channel 9 and the BET article and the National Journal article, everything that you know about this program. I don't know if you've ever been associated with another like career training or job training, but they get a fair amount of money to run the programs. Typically, they get $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per person to participate. So they beg people to come and sign up. They put out a bunch of flyers at the bus stop. Everything that you know about this program, you are looking at the person who pays for everything. There is no funding from anyone, not the federal government, not the district government. There's no corporation that helps us out. I pay for everything. And the reason why is because I was your age one time. And there was no Ray Bell nowhere to be found when I was coming through. And I promised myself if I was ever in a position to help the next generation, I would. I was only planning to do this one time back in 2009 when Dana and Dominique and some others, I didn't see Shanice Ballinger, when they participated. I figured we do it one time, the city would be so impressed. I could take this program downtown and say, here's how you train young people to get really good jobs. It didn't happen. They didn't want to hear from me because they had a whole bunch of other training programs already. It's cool. So I said, I'm going to do it again. And then the same thing happened. I said, I'm going to do it again. I was planning to stop after the group that just graduated right from this room in May. But if I stop, that means all the relationships I've built with corporations that call me every other day asking me, I can literally show you the emails and the students will tell you because I share a lot of stuff. I can show you the emails where they will email me and say, hey, Mr. Bell, could you please send me at least 2 resumes because I have 3 help desk openings. And the starting salary it's average between $35,000 and $40,000. And here are the things they need to know. I get emails like that all the time. Just got one today because I sent some of the recruiters the BET article that was in the that ran today. And said, oh, I'm glad you called me. I was going to email you anyway. Could you send me a couple of resumes? We got some new openings over at, I can't remember the name of the company. But that's how it works because they have the skills that people are looking for. So what is a help desk or application support professional? Because that's the type of job that you're going to get. You're going to sit behind a desk and you're going to wait for the phone to ring and someone's going to call you and say, hi, I need to get access to this printer. I can't print. I'm a brand new employee. And you're going to help them configure that printer so they can print to it. Or they're going to call you and say, I can't access the internet. I need some help. And you're going to troubleshoot it and figure out what's wrong and help that person get access to the internet. And you're going to do it professionally and you're going to do it timely. And when you do that, you will not only stay employed, but you will get promoted. You will move from what we call a tier 1, which is an entry-level help desk person,